Hello, welcome back to Heretical Tarot. My name is Liz, and I will be guiding you on this journey today. These are the messages for the human design profile. If you don't know what your human design profile is, there is a link in the description for you to get your human design body graph, and your profile will be listed on there. No matter where you are in your knowledge, your awareness of human design, these messages are not necessarily meant to be educational. They're meant to be an additional channel of information or to receive a message, because not every Leo is a 4-1, or not every Capricorn is a 2-4, So, of course, self plug. Definitely be sure to check out your zodiac sign readings. I generally do those first, so all of those are up for your viewing pleasure. But yeah, so these are in addition to, or even separate from, I can't guarantee that they would coincide, But anyway, also there potentially might be a little bit of a change. I literally just found out, was it earlier today? Whatever. That CapCut updated their terms of service to where literally anything you upload into CapCut, they can fucking use, which is just gross. It's gross. I think that's really shitty, actually. And I don't want to use it anymore. And I don't really have a backup for it. And really all that I ever do with editing is I take out the sections where I'm just sitting here staring at the cards, because I don't know, I just kind of assume that people don't want to just sit in dead silence, and I don't know. I'm sure, like, if there is, a long enough break or dead air or whatever, that I could probably splice it out. Like, I did that for a while before I found CapCut, but it was very time consuming, and I just don't know if I feel like doing that these days, like going back to that. Like, we can't go backwards, bro. So anyway, like I said, you might just kind of notice videos being a little, you probably won't notice a dang thing, except for the potential for some spaces in there where I'm, like I said, I'm literally just sitting here staring at the cards, not saying anything. And if that becomes like the new norm, then I will at least try to notify, like inform you of that. I'm a manifesting generator. So, I will at least try to inform, like, hey, I'm going to sit here for a couple of seconds and like really look at these cards and feel into them. So anyway, I just fucking CapCut. Sorry for the F-bombs. Kinda. Actually, I'm not. I drop F-bombs all the time. Anyway, if you didn't know that about CapCut, and if you use CapCut, don't. Truly. Like, because then this video, like, was also saying that, let's say you edited your video in CapCut, right? And I don't ever use any type of copyrighted, I don't use music, I don't use anything, of course, like that, other than me talking, right? But if you use CapCut and you use a song that you don't have the quote unquote rights to use, and say CapCut uses that video for something, and they get flagged for it, you're the one that's on the hook for it. How shitty is that? And also, I just, like I said, I just think overall it's just a really crappy thing, and I don't think anybody should use it anymore. So with that being said, let's get into the readings. Great. So this is the reading for the 1-4, the investigator opportunist. Again, if you don't know what your human design profile is, there's a link for you to get your body graph, and your profile will be listed on there. See what came out. The 3 of Swords, the 2 of Swords, the Ace of Wands. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Interesting. I can tell you, I don't think that's ever happened. Especially they all came out together, like the odds. The odds. The Hermit at the bottom of the deck. The Lovers. 5 of Cups. It's interesting because this card, there's this tree here that this heart was carved into, and it's raining. Around it, I don't know, you probably can't hear like the thunder that's going on outside, but it's raining outside right now, and it is picking up. We've got some ivy on here, a frog also. Like the frog is probably just waiting for the rain to pass. It's almost kind of camouflaged in there also. Swords have to do with our thoughts, our mind, our mindset, our belief systems, truth, honesty. How are we communicating those things? How are we thinking about those things? I also see swords as being the suit of ego, because that's generally where we tend to hear our ego is in our minds. And our ego is created by the stories that we attach to experiences, feelings, ourselves, and it becomes our belief system. It becomes our personality, our temperament, the reasons why we even perceive our reality to be what it is because of the filter of our ego. So, the 3 of Swords generally talks about heartbreak, rejection, disappointment. But again, it's swords. So it's, how are those experiences living in your mind? What stories are you attaching to that? There could have been an experience that was disappointing or hurt your feelings in some capacity. Maybe it was something too that like you already had an identity around it. And maybe feel like you jinxed it. And I'm saying that because there's this heart that's carved into the tree here, right? So it's giving me this feeling of, again, like if you had, maybe you like shared something that you were already like really excited about. Honestly, it could even have to do, of course, with the literal like feeling of betrayal. And again, like there's thoughts that come up around that experience because of the beliefs that you already have established. This almost too, like the more that I'm like looking at it, it almost feels like playing darts. um which I don't, maybe that's not a bad idea to print out a picture of whatever it is, the logo of a company, the picture of a person, like whatever, go to a bar that has darts, tape it up on the dartboard and throw darts at it with your friends. Like, um I would do some shit like that. Like I was married for 8 months, and a part of the cake package that we had was that on our year anniversary we could pick up a cake topper. Like, instead of freezing it for the year like most people do, or maybe that was the norm or whatever, like a few years ago, but well, I guess a few years prior to when this happened. But anyway, so yeah, part of their package was that a year later you could order the cake topper from them for your 1 year anniversary. So obviously, like, we had separated prior to that happening, and it just so happened that my divorce papers were signed by the judge, or our divorce papers, whatever, were signed by the judge 1 year and 1 day after what would have been, our 1 year anniversary. So I asked a couple friends to like go out to dinner with me, and I picked up that cake topper. Hell yeah, I picked up that cake topper, brought it to the restaurant, and we all ate it. And I'm so glad that we did. Like, I don't know, I'm a Taurus sun also, so I am not going to waste free food. So anyway, like, I was not going to let that cake go. But, it was just like, I had my friends there. They all knew about it. I also, I knew that the divorce papers were signed. So we were also, just being supported, by my friends that way too. So anyway, like, that's why when I was like looking at this, I'm like, it feels like throwing darts at this heart here. And again, I mean, that can literally represent anything. It could be relationship. It could be, an opportunity that you were really excited about and maybe it didn't work out. And again, like, maybe it was something that you shared with people. And that's what I mean, because there's this heart that was carved into the tree. So, it's like you had this identity around it. You shared your excitement, you shared something about it, and maybe it didn't work out, or there was some disappointment around it, whatever it is, right? Feeling a little like gloomy. I'm curious if it mentions what type of ivy that is, though, on the card. Like, because I don't know, I feel like that matters. Betrayal, heartbreak, grief, hard lessons. 3 blades pierce a heart carved into an ivy wound tree. A small frog clings to its surface and relishes the rain. This card describes the kind of intense heartbreak that can block out all reason. Whether it stems from loss, betrayal, or rejection, suffering often seems to have no end or higher purpose, but it can often be a catalyst for growth. Consider the downpour in this card and the role it plays in the forest's constant renewal. Although some hardships call for stoicism, a degree of detachment, this card speaks of more cathartic moments of emotional release. The reason why, maybe there's more than one, because I'm like, why did I say it plural? But the reason why I was curious about this ivy here is that I just like got this feeling about like if you let it grow and get too dense, then it could potentially suffocate you. Like some plants do climb on trees in nature, that's what they do. But there are also plants that are like invasive, and if they can like overtake a tree and literally like suffocate it or like kill it because it diminishes its nutrients or prevents it from getting water or even sun, so I don't know. So that's why I was like, I wonder if it mentions anything about ivy. Just be aware of that. I love the whole thing about like the rain, and how it replenishes and plays a role in the forest's constant renewal. Like, definitely be sure that you are nurturing yourself. Definitely be sure that you are taking care of yourself. And like, it's like whatever this is could have thrown you into this like, now what do I do? Because we have the Two of Swords, which is a card of indecision. And too, with this nest in the middle here, this bird is blindfolded. Don't let whatever is happening in this Three of Swords put you into like a constant cycle of not trusting yourself or not trusting anything, the indecision part, not going after something because you don't want to end up back in the Three of Swords. Like, that's no reason. The Three of Swords is no reason to, I know we convince ourselves of that, but what is not for you, you won't get it. So it's like, preventing yourself from experiencing the things that are meant for you. And it's the whole like rejection being redirection. Even just reframing it, since both of these cards are about our mind and our mindset, reframing the Three of Swords and being like, I dodged a bullet. Or there's got to be a better opportunity than if this one isn't it. And you should like want to share those things with your friends, and you should get support from your friends if something doesn't work out. Just like you would be there for your friends too, But again, like I said, right, because there is this nest that this bird was able to make on these swords because these swords have not moved. So don't pitch a tent and get stuck in indecision. Because, again, like, because in your mind, you had this expectation that was not fulfilled. And you think that like that's how every experience is going to go. It's not. It won't. Unless you believe that, right? We can make ourselves believe anything, but you can also believe that things will work out. You can also believe that you are being redirected to something that is more in your favor more in alignment with you. And especially we know that because we have the Ace of Wands. And I also love that this arm, this hand is coming up through the flames. So all that hard work, all that ambition, all that determination, all of the things that didn't work out or that, you were disappointed by, you come out swinging. You come out on top. Aces are brand new. This is, feeling inspired, like truly finding a passion to take action towards, something to pour your energy into, something that motivates you even. The book, so the Two of Swords, the book says stalemate, indecision, hindered emotions, avoidance. A blindfolded Stellar's jay sits on its nest, which is balanced precariously between two swords. This card depicts the way in which we sometimes blind ourselves to external forces in order to avoid pain and difficult choices. It warns that indecision is not a permanent solution, but a superficial salve. When we refuse to accept hard truths, which probably happened in the Three of Swords, or let others in, we leave ourselves vulnerable to real danger. If you feel at an impasse or stuck between two opposing forces, this card urges you to open yourself emotionally and intellectually and truly head towards one. Like, no doubt, clarity will come. Like, the answer that you are seeking will be shown to you. And especially even, like I said, right? Like, we have this Ace of Wands at the end here, which wands are literally the suit of taking action. Pick one. At least there's only two, since it's the Two of Swords. Because, you'll find out quick if you made the right decision, and if you didn't, pivot and go towards the other one. Or just be open for the next opportunity to veer off, because it'll be provided to you. Absolutely. The Ace of Wands says inspiration, power, creation, potential. A hand reaches through the flames to hold a budding wand aloft. This card symbolizes action and inspiration. If you have drawn the Ace of Wands face up, it means you are excited about a new idea or project. The Ace of Wands is encouraging you to go full out for what you want. The fire is burning around you, but out of it, you emerge with your offering held aloft. Listen to your instincts and follow your intuition. The time for action is now. The details of the plan will reveal themselves in time, see? But what is most important now is the initial surge of passion and energy. We have the Hermit at the bottom of the deck, which is it's kind of like the lone wolf card. Like, I always see the Hermit as being like, only you can walk your path. Like, your path is unique to you. So whatever is going on is very much par for the course. It is an energy that you are moving through. Also, the Hermit talks about introspection, solitude, like, it's going within, getting quiet enough to hear yourself, which we were kind of talking about with this Ace of Wands, right? Like, truly, next steps will be revealed to you. they're also traditionally guided by the star, which is hopes and dreams, trusting the process, following your heart. Maybe not quite understanding the experiences that you're having or why you even need to have these experiences, right? Like is this all for the plot, or like what the hell? But still, like, allowing yourself to be guided by a dream, a hope, what you are trying to manifest. The book says introspection, inner self, direction, contemplation. A child illuminates his cave in the summit of a mountain. The hermit shows you a time of deep introspection. You are considering your spiritual self and looking to understand your own soul above the world surrounding you. This will lead you to comfort, to the attainment of satisfaction that comes only from truly knowing yourself. These discoveries may lead to a change of direction as you better understand, your needs and goals. Careful planning that is born of inner contemplation can lead to your goals. That's a thing too, right? I mean, I feel like that just kind of confirms everything that like we've been talking about. But the thing is, like, if you have a very rigid plan, like a very narrow idea of like how you want things to be like presented to you, or opportunities that you want to experience, right? Like if you have a very narrow vision of what that is, then that too, like that'll put you into the Three of Swords. Because if it didn't show up in the way that you expected it to, or that you wanted it to, or that you had the plan for it to, then that can like throw you into a spiral, which would also be like this Two of Swords. Because man, like if that didn't work out, then this thing won't work out, or why even fucking whatever, you know? So yeah, I mean, like allow things to change, allow things to come in for you, however they come in for you, especially, you know, the fourth line, you know, that your best opportunities are going to be found within your network, within your community. Put a little birdie out there. See how it comes back to you. Trust that. Allow yourself to pivot. You know, like allowing yourself to be a little more fluid, which is water, which we don't have any out here. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.